What's up, guys? It's your boy Justin back with another game review. Normally I do these game reviews on camera, but today we're gonna do audio only. I'll have like a screenshot or whatever of the game. So today we're reviewing the Two Worlds 2, which is when did this game come out? Came out in 2010 apparently. Released by Success Entertainment and South Peak Games and Topware Interactive. This was originally developed by Rally Pump, though I don't think they did the first game, right? Which this is a dark fantasy open world RPG where you create a character that has to be male because of the story, right? And the story of the game is, for the last 5 years, you've been in prison and Gandahar's prison dungeons, right? Which right off the bat, you have like a dungeon prison escape. That's in a lot of fantasy RPGs, right? Yeah, and like you get rescued by this band of orcs, right? Who were sent to rescue you by Cesaris or Cesaria, I think that's her name, which is like some kind of dark elf or orc, she orc like character who's like a prophet, what, right? And she rescued you because she needs your help to bring down the evil Emperor Gandahar, who was like the villain of the main game of the first game, right? Who has your twin sister, who is possessed by Azrael, which is supposed to be like this evil fire demon god, right? Yeah, and like you go out into the world to find out everything you need to know about Gandahar, so you can help the orc rebels take Gandahar down and rescue your twin sister, right? So the game, you kind of start off with a tutorial level where the orcs, which the orcs, like each of them are like it's like a different class. You have the male archer, the mage, and the warrior, right? And you have the female Shiork, who called Darfa, right? Who I think is supposed to be a romance option in the game, right? Which there is like some, not really nudity, but like there's like a quest in the game where if you help this chick. Well, it's a series of quests. There's like a series of quests where if you help this chick named Rhea take down this underworld gang lord, you get the banger, right? But yeah, like you have a tutorial level where you get introduced to how the combat works, which is an action RPG, right? How like archery works and like magic works, right? And there's stealth in the game, right? I went with a warrior kind of class because that's usually the easiest way to beat a game. Though, like, a lot of people swear by that this game, the best part of this game is the magic system, right? Where you can mess around. The magic system, it goes into like a third-person shooter mode, just like with the archery stuff, and like you can change like aspects of like spells. Like you can decide, oh, if I want my magic missile to, like, let's say I have a magic missile attack, which you start off with firebolt, and then you can buy spells and spell components to change like your attacks. Like say I have firebolt, but I'm going up against an enemy who's strong against fire, right? So I can switch it out for a different element, like like water, like earth or air, right? Or necromancy. That's one of the elements, right? So yeah, there's that. But like, yeah, most of the time I went with the basic, like, you know, hacking and hacking and slashing, which a lot of the advanced like skills you have to get by buying skill books from vendors, which there's vendors everywhere in this game, and like, you know, it's very much like almost like an MMORPG where you go around, talk to people, solve quests, right? Which there's a very easy quest log where you can highlight, you know, what quests you want to follow, and it'll leave a mark on a map. Which there's teleporting in this game, right? But you can only teleport using the stones or teleportation circles during the map, and you can only teleport when you're like when you're outdoors. You can't teleport from dungeons, right? Which sucks. Just like in the first game, you have mounts, but the mounts you can only use in the beginning of the game because you can't, because they you have mountains and you have the entrances to towns are low, so you can't bring your horse in. So you have to abandon your horse, and you can't use the horse throughout the rest of the game, which fucking sucks. Cause like, what, I love having mounts in fucking games. Like, you know, the first the first Two Worlds game was like very innovative with its, like, you know, the fact that you can have mounts and you can have different kinds of mounts. Here you can only have the heavy horse, right? And it's useless other than you can only use it when you're in that region, right? Which totally fucking sucks. You know, side mechanics in the game. You have, like, you can do alchemy, right? Which, you know, lots of enemies in the game drops alchemy components, and you can look for, like, you know, plants and stuff, right? Which usually have like a shining sparkle over it. Same with all the different items in the game that you can interact with. They don't show up on your mini map though. Enemies respawn, so you don't have to worry about, like in earlier Dragon Age games where, oh, you kill all the enemies and you can't grind. You can grind from killing enemies or killing, you know, monsters. I mean, doing quests, right? Yeah, which there are a lot of quests in the game. I even do them all. I just, you know, I just went straight to the. I did mostly the main story games, right? Which there's like, I didn't even fill out the whole fucking map. I didn't fill out the whole map, man. I feel like, it's like, holy shit. I'm surprised this game, because this game, if you look online, it's supposed to be 30 fucking hours. I beat the game in less than 19, right? But I felt very fucking under-leveled as fuck, finding the fucking final boss of the game, which is a fucking dragon, of course. And I couldn't, and it would just, you're on top of a tower, flying around, a dragon's flying around you, while it's fucking bombarding you with fucking fireballs, and you have to go to the, there's like 4 crossbows, right? Giant crossbows. I forget what the fuck they're called. Ballistas or whatever. Not ballistas. Whatever. You guys know what it is, right? And you try to shoot at it, but you can only shoot at it from that angle, and if it goes out of that angle, you have to try to shoot at it again. And there's like, after you take about a certain amount of health, it'll summon like a fucking fire golem monster, right? While you have to fight that while it's shooting fireballs at you. Kill the monster, take another section out of the fucking dragon's health. It summons 2 fire golems, and then like you do that, do it again, and then it summons 3 fucking fire golems, right? And while you're having 3 of these fucking massive monsters fight you while while a dragon's flying around bombarding you, the game goes super fucking the massive slowdown, right? Like, took me fucking hours to beat that fucking final boss, because it took me a while to figure out how the fucking crossbows work. They don't tell you how the fucking crossbows work. I thought, like, I was shooting the fucking crossbows at the fucking dragon, and it took me a while to realize, oh no, you're supposed to hold the R2 button for the string to go all the way back, and then a bolt will appear, and then you shoot the bolt, right? So it's like fucking really fucking slow, right? So you have to time the fucking like crossbow hits, right? Yeah, and it's the thing where I'm not a fucking mage, so all my how leveling works is you get two skill points and 2 like stat points. So I didn't put any, like, you have like the different skill trees, like your general, which will have your health, your endurance, your stamina, elemental tolerance, poison tolerance, and then you have the weapon skills for the different classes, and the miscellaneous stuff, which is like alchemy, weaponsmithing, which you can upgrade weapons and stuff. I never fucking figured out how to actually make weapons, which you can only do once you're at level 20 and you level up all the way weapon crafting, right? And then you unlock the metallurgy skill, right? Never fucking figured out how to craft weapons, or even to combine the magic gems, which you can put into weapons and armor, right? Never figured out how that fucking works. But yeah, but like, you know, despite all that, the game is fun, and I really enjoyed a lot of the quests in the game. Like, one quest, you have to, like, one of the early quests, you have to, like, you know, help a town that's, you know, save a town from starvation, right? Even though there's lots of wildlife for them to hunt and kill outside the town, but you have to, like, you know, save a town from starvation. I think it was like the second chapter. You have to help, like, before you can get to a town you need to go. You have to, you know, help this guard captain figure out the identity of this underworld, like, you know, underworld crime boss who's called Mirage, whose men is being, like, you know, killed by some mysterious vigilante, which turns out, spoiler, turns out to be the sexy thief Rhea, who wants revenge against Mirage. So if you help her out, you get like a romance option where you get, you know, where you get like a cutscene where you bang her off screen, but she gets naked, right? Right. What other quests are there? Oh, you go into you go to another, like, area, another part of the map where you go to this magic university, right? Which is like Eastern themed, right? Where you're trying to figure out more about Gandahar and how his magic works, and you're like, you know, trying helping mages, like students and professors, right? That was cool. And then, like, one of the last areas of the game is there's this town that's being like constantly raided by swamp zombies, and there's a witch, a swamp witch, which you help them, and it turns out the priest at the fucking at the swamp village is actually a fucking fire demon, right? The son of the fire demon god that's possessing your sister, right? And then like at the end of the game, you have to raid like Gandahar's castle, which also there's a point in the game where you help like this guy named the captain who has like a rebel army and this mage, right? Who's like, which there are guilds in the game. I forgot to mention there are guilds, right? Which you have the Thieves Guild, you have the Fighters Guild, but you have the Magic Guild, which you can do quests for all free. You don't have to join specifically. Pick one. You can join all 3 guilds, right, and do quests for them, right? But like, yeah, there's like a for people wondering, is there any like woke stuff or the political stuff? There's like a thing in the game where you're trying to gain the captain's trust, right? And he's like, you know, I fear that one of my men is a traitor. I need you to go out and kill him, right? And he's like, and you ask him, is there any proof? Not definitively, but like I can't take the chance. You go to this guy's house, right? And you go to the guy's house, and you know, I see papers around the guy's house, so I'm like, oh, I'm gonna pick them up and read them, right? Let's make sure to see if the guy's actually a traitor or not. And then you see it's like a love note, Dear I from Fallon, which is the name of the captain, right? And I'm like, what the fuck is this? Right, you go out, and the guy is this guy named Amrin, who looks just like my character, but with blonde hair, right? That's another problem with the game, is that I picked, I guess, the girliest fucking hairstyle in the game, which looks like, kind of like Leon Kennedy's haircut from, like, Resident Evil 4, but with like a small ponytail at the back. And every fucking girl character and every effeminate guy character has that same hairstyle. I'm like, fuck, I fucked up when I picked that hairstyle. But yeah, it turns out that the captain is gay, and even though, and you're being sent to kill his gay lover, right? Because he can't have the men find out. And though Amren denied that he was gay, but outed the captain, and you know, it's like, please don't kill me. I have a family, which I think you can choose whether or not to kill him. But you know, I had a job to do, right? But yeah, so that might piss off some people in the game, right? But yeah, it was what it is. And like, yeah, and spoiler alert, there's a lot of common fucking theme in the game where, and I know this is like a lot of RPGs, where you pick or choose, like, you know, sorry, you'll start to work for somebody, and then turns out, oh, he was the bad guy all along, and that happened like 2 or 3 points in the game. Until like the finale, where it turns out, oh, the person that you're working for, I'm not gonna say which fucking character, turns out to be the bad guy and turns into a fucking dragon that you have to kill the dragon, right? And the game ends with your sister becoming the emperor, right? And you know, you show up in like the orcs camp, and you can go out and play the game, play more of the game, right? Which was cool. So what did I think about this game? The armor sets and weapons were cool. The game was fun. Aesthetic, like not a lot of games, right, have the option where you can wear capes, and so like, wow, it's like finally a fantasy RPG where my character can wear a cape, right? Which a lot of fucking games don't fucking have that, man. Which, you know, a lot of characters in fantasy books want to wear capes, or cloaks, sorry. So finally a game where I can wear a cape, right? But yeah, lots of variety of the game. Like, the game never got boring to me. and like I thought the quests were good. The game was well written, and it was actually trying to be a serious game. It's not like with other fucking Western RPGs where it's like if it has a lower budget, they try to go out with the humor route, right? The humor route, like with the Risen games and the Divinity games. No, this game took itself fucking seriously, even though there was like a stupid fucking Monty Python and the Holy Grail joke, and like the main character broke the fourth wall. I was like, oh, I hope you don't get sued, right? Which this game was made by a Polish developer, right away. But yeah, the problems with the game, ragdoll physics at times. A lot of the fucking female character models in the game their arms are always stiff, and a lot of them have the same hairstyle, which is the same hairstyle my fucking main character had. Which my character looked cool in my opinion. He kind of looked like Brad Pitt with like, you know, Leon Kennedy like hairstyle, right? And you know, I love the fucking my armor set at the end of the game. It looked fucking cool. And the weapons were cool, and I liked the fact that it did like the D&D thing, where certain enemies are weak against certain weapon types and magic, right? So, you know, if you're fighting, you know, fleshy enemies, you know, you can use blades and shit. But if you're facing like, you know, like enemies that have like tough shells and shit, you have to use blunt weapons like maces, hammers, or axes, right? Which is total D&D shit. Like, so it's like I always have to carry around a sword and like a mace or warhammer or something like that. So yeah, I enjoyed that. But yeah, my major problem with the game is like they gave me a horse, a mount, and like you can only use it in a certain small section of the game. That was fucking bullshit. And the fucking final boss of the game is total fucking bullshit, where it's like a turret shooter with once in a while you have to fight enemies, right? Enemies that are too big for the small arena. Because like the game has a problem where, you know, if you fight too many large enemies at once, the game slows down, and they can like, you know, crowd you and like stun lock you, man. It's fucking bullshit. And like right, that sucks. But I did like this game does not limit how many healing items you can have. Maybe you can't have 99 of the same fucking healing item, but you can carry as much healing items that you want. I enjoyed that, and you're gonna fucking need a lot of them. But another major problem of the game, right? Once you get to the final, there's a point in the game where you're in the final dungeon, you're about to fight the final boss, you're in the hallway about to go into a portal to get to the top of the tower to fight the final boss. You can't leave, right? So I was at a point where I was stuck in the game, and I thought I was under level, and I couldn't beat the fucking final boss. That I thought, oh my god, I'm gonna have to go reload previous save, go grind, and come back. Thankfully, after a few hours of I was finally able to fucking beat the final boss. But yeah. Overall, though, if I were to give this game a rating, it's like, it's the thing. But when this game had come out, I would have said this was definitely, you know, a 6 out of 10. Because, but, like, by today's standards, this is a fucking 4 out of 10 at best. And it's one of the most hated Western RPGs of all time. But I think this is bullshit. I think if you liked games like the Risen games, you like the Elder Scrolls games, you like the 360 Divinity game, this is a decent fantasy RPG, and it's worth playing. But yeah, it is like, you know, by today's standards, this is like a 4 out of 10. But honestly, I think this game's worth playing if you're a fan of Western RPGs. Yeah. All right, guys, peace. That's the end of this review.